Well, good morning, everyone from Las Vegas. We are back at it. We're here at the CSI Expo, and we're really excited today. I want to just take a second and shout out our sponsors. If you look across the bottom, all those folks really helped us get here, and we couldn't have done it without them. So we really thank them for their support. Do us a favor, hit up the chat, make sure you can hear us okay. You're not going to want to miss this. We have a special guest with us. We have Emily Frazer from Matchroom. Cool. How's it going, Emily?
All good, thank you. How are you guys doing? You got long old days in Vegas.
Yeah, it's they've been long days and it's been a lot of fun. We've met a lot of people and had a good time out here, but we're excited to talk to you about the World Championship right around the corner.
I know. I can't believe it's next Wednesday. It's
how the
a lot of
preparation has been
planning.
going. Yeah, and I remember whenever we talked during the right before the PLP, I'm thinking like you're going to be knee deep in Premier League stuff, and you're like, no, I'm getting ready for the World Championships already. You're already
Do you
way ahead of
know
the game.
the plan to the World Championship is we kind of we put a lot of thought into our table 2 setup and how the rest of the arena is set up and how you can watch table 2 and the graphics, and the arena is going to look different and the arena is going to look sexier than ever, but the production is going to look even better as well.
I
Like
thought
there's so many.
that open one last year was pretty sweet though, because you had the TV table, and then what I loved about it was that you can see, the guys breaking and the guys shooting pool in the background playing other matches. I love the way it looked
Yeah,
last year.
of course, but we were behind closed doors last year, so
Right.
we got spectators in for this one, so it creates so many different more elements to it, and it's only going to enhance it. So it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. There's even things like us launching our 9-ball rankings at the start of the year. It's even our graphics as to how we display all of our rankings. We're a proper production company here, and we're producing television shows for broadcasters. So you're John Smith tuning in to the World Championship for the first time. He ain't got a clue what rankings is. He doesn't know why
Right.
David Al-Kaidi is ranked number 2 and he's seeded number 2 in the event. He's got no idea. The whole push of this is to push 9-ball and to commercialize 9-ball. So we've got to try and think of every element. This is our first ranking event, the first
Right.
Matchroom ball ranking event. So that's just all of a sudden, that's stepped up a gear from the Matchroom perspective. We need to make sure that we deliver this to the highest standard that we've ever delivered an event before. That's the kind
I
of
didn't
bar
realize
we're
that though, because I guess I just took for granted Derby City and then Premier League. But you're right, this is y'all's actual first event that you guys are
Yeah,
producing from the ground
we
up from yourselves.
we got to show the scores at all of the other table through the television broadcast. Again, I refer to Mr. John Smith tuning in for the first time. I want
Right.
him to see the match on table 1, to know exactly what's happening on table 13 in the background. And I want the graphics to be shown, so then he can see all of that. And this viewer tuning in can understand that there is a bigger
Absolutely.
tournament to this one table that they're viewing. And again, we've only been dealing in multi-table events for the last 2 years, probably. So just think what we can do now for the second year of the World Championship to what we're going to do after having US Open, European Open, UK Open,
Right.
World Championship, all these other multi-table events. It's scary what we can do with it.
The importance of live scoring cannot be underrated, because there's few sports that I follow, but one of them is tennis, and it's harder for me to go and watch tennis sometimes, like the Dubai Open or whatever. So what I do is to go and follow it, not because I just love sweat matches, but I'll go and I'll type in men's tennis, and it'll show me live scoring throughout. It doesn't matter what match it is. If it's going on anywhere in the world, I can go and sweat it. So to be considered more of a proper sport, it's important to go and have that live scoring element. It's just massive. Like, it's not
Of
cannot be
course.
understated.
We're working with Digital Pool for the first time.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I love those
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
So, it's been really great working alongside Isaac. Obviously, I have some very big plans that we're working on a separate thing. But first time I'm working with Digital Pool. I know the team in the multi-sport department have been working relentlessly with the digital pool team as well, just to try and see how obviously we deliver the product, and how we ensure we don't come across any problems that we have done before. So I envision that's going to be an area that everyone should be pleasantly surprised with. So yeah, excited about that, and I think it's going to be something really interesting.
You mentioned rankings and the importance of explaining to like a John Smith, right? Is there like a conscious effort or discussion or meeting with commentators to go and make sure that they're educating the public, while to make the mundaneness of sometimes the points in the match to go and talk about rankings, or when you're doing social media stuff to go and make sure you're educating the public?
Of course. So I had Michael Bridge in today and had an hour's meeting with him about our Matchroom pool events that are coming up. I think it was mentioned before about giving other people who are commentating on other shows an opportunity on the Matchroom events. And I said it before, I'll only bring people into our team and put them on the TV if I'm confident that they can deliver to the Matchroom standard. And, you've got to go through those hoops to ensure, again, you're being broadcast to the rest of the world. Some broadcasters, they take their own commentary on it, but the majority of them are taking our commentary. That's our brand. That's our 9-ball, and that's our Matchroom brand. So one thing that I'm really streamlining this year that I'm working on personally is the pundits that we use at our shows. Are they delivering the right message for us? How they're working alongside with us? Carl Boyes has been working with us for a long time. He's very good at his job. Sometimes he is being distracted, and it's probably our fault of announcing him for the vice captain for the Mosconi Cup events, because it's very hard for him to remain unbiased when he's a vice captain of one of the teams of the Mosconi Cup.
He's human.
So if he's delivering a message throughout the Matchroom pool shows, and he's at the US Open, and there's a European on the table, for instance, he's always going to be biased.
Right.
So one thing that we're focusing on is to make sure that bias doesn't happen. We remove that. So we're learning a lot as we're going along, and it's actually really quite refreshing and challenging and exciting, because it's not easy. It's not straightforward stuff. We're building a tour. It's not been done before in pool, and it takes years for sports to do this, and we're trying to accelerate.
She might have froze up on us. You know what? I'm gonna take a guess. She's probably getting a call right now, because that usually happens to me, and that happened last time. Yeah. Usually that's how it comes out. It's her internet connection. But you know what, Joey? I love. Here's my thought on it. Whenever she was talking about Carl Boyes, I enjoy
She's back. Back.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I was saying I enjoy Carl kind of being a little biased, and here's why: is because it makes American fans can't stand Carl that much more. So that way they want to see him go and feel. I enjoy his commentary though. I think he brings a colorful element to that group.
Yeah, Emily, I think one of the things that I've heard over the last couple years that fans really appreciate are the interviews that are done in between the matches, before the matches. They're really getting to know the players outside of pool, right? Getting to know their personality and who they are. Do you have plans to continue, maybe expand on that?
A lot of production plans. And I think the one thing that we've been really working on is, well, we have the blessing that our production team work within the same building as us. So the producers that are on our show are producers that are producing the huge boxing shows that are happening. They're creative, they're dynamic. And they also come into our multi-sport division, and they look at ways that, they've got these personalities in the darts, they've got these personalities in boxing. And the thing is with pool is that we have these personalities, but they're not being displayed to the rest of the public. They're not being put out there. Everyone knows in darts Peter Wright, the player that has the colourful Mohican, and everyone knows him. You don't have that in pool as a general kind of knowledge. So it's something that we're working on, and we're the only ones that are going to do it, because we've got that platform, we've got that exposure that we can develop. So working with the players and who are working with us, we've requested some of the players to come here earlier to do different features and to do different work with us. But, you know, that costs money to do. You know, we've got to have camera operators there that's way before the event, producers, we've got to cut it all together. So we're making, when we said at the beginning of the year, and when we launched the 9-ball world rankings, and we said we're making a huge investment into the sport, that's just not prize money. It's the production as well.
I never thought about that.
The
That's
production that we are now putting into our pool events has doubled as to what it was 5 years ago on, you know, what we used to spend on the World Cup pool. We've set the bar, and we have to keep, you know, hitting it and going over. So when we say we're making this investment, these are the investments we are making. Our team is increasing in here because we're building our content. We're building more features, so we can send 2 of our team over to a ranking event to capture more footage, to make sure that in the future, the International Open is actually being displayed from a Matchroom perspective. So we're working on things like that. So when we say we're making a big investment into the sport, we are. This is the 9-ball world rankings.
I know a couple of Americans who can help you out, you know, at the international. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just going to throw that out there. I know a couple of Americans that might be able to help you out.
Unless you guys travel globally with me, you ain't coming on board.
We're working on it.
Shop.
We're working on it. We are working on it. So you mentioned you mentioned rankings. You mentioned your plans. You did mention also table 2. What can fans go and expect from that second experience? Because I remember last year we had a YouTube channel, no commentary. It was fine for what it was. But is there plans to go and up your game in that regard?
Graphics. That's what we've invested on for this year. Listen, I don't want to start making promises that I can't keep, because one thing that I'll say, that if I say something, we deliver on it. So I won't make empty promises. The secondary table graphic commentary, it's not going to come into play yet. It's something that costs a lot of money, and it's on our radar. However, we noticed a lot of negative feedback in regards to the scoring and in regards to the graphic when we set up our table 2 stream.
Right.
So that is one thing that obviously you can expect for this year. And it will look a lot better. It's still your 1 camera setup, because again, we have a television show.
You want to have everyone focused on the main TV table. You don't,
Of course.
Yeah, right.
You know, we've got broadcasters taking our show from around the world, but our show also incorporates table 2 into it. So if you're racking on table 1, or it's becoming a little bit tedious and we want to see what's happening on table 2 and it's got a bit exciting, then we switch to that. And they're the creative producers that we've got on board to make those decisions.
Yeah, I really like that.
To the viewers.
Is it more of just like, we're going to put whoever there, or are you guys aware and are looking for compelling matchups that are happening as far as who to go and put on table 2? I mean, obviously the best matchup you want to go and funnel into table 1, but a lot of times when you get, 128 players, you're going to have great matchups no matter where you look. So are you guys thinking about that, or is it kind of like, well, whoever lands on table 2 is on table 2?
Oh, God, no. It's, this is gold dust. Table 1 and table 2, that is gold dust. I'm telling you, that will take a lot of scrutiny before that schedule gets published. And that's not me.
But you're never going to please anyone, because someone in this country is going to be offended that so-and-so was not on there. And someone in that country is going to say, why she never shows this person. So you're never going to please everyone, but at least there's an effort. Listen,
we're a promoter.
Right.
We are bloody excellent at our job. We know what we're doing. And I wouldn't put a schedule out on table 1 and 2 that only I looked at alone. The whole team in this building in this team have to look at that together. And we all come together and we decide who is scheduled on those 2 tables. And there's different opinions that come into play, because I might not see something that one of the other team does see. So we come together, we do that, but we're good at what we do, and the decisions that we make, there's a reason for them. Might bite us in the arse sometimes, and it might end up being a terrible match, but careful, everything is always well thought through. There's a reason why we do everything. We don't just stick it out on table 2 and hope for the best. It's all thought about, it's discussed, and I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, guys, do us a favor. Get out there and like and share this. We're here talking with Emily Frazer from Matchroom Pool. Really excited about next week's event, the World Championship. They are the format is 128 player field. It's two stages. The final stage will be 64 player. Semifinals, it starts with a race to 9 originally, then the last 64 go to a race to 11, and then the final is a race to 13. It's winner break format. Emily, are you doing 1 on the spot or 9 on the spot? Do you know? Put you on the
Gosh, I don't
spot.
even know anymore. What? I think it's 1 on the spot as normal. I
One
think
on the
what we're
spot.
trying, we're trying to look. I'll say to you now, if you tell me that 80% or 90% of all the pool players and all the organisers in the world tell me that it is more competitive and it is better for television and it's tougher for the players, the 1 on the spot. With by the way, just forget about the 3-point rule. It's not happening in our events. It's just
Thank
not
God.
Good.
So if you're telling me that with no 3-point rule, hand racking, and all of the matchroom elements, 1 on the spot is more competitive than 9 on the spot, then I will go with that. You're telling me it's the other way round, then I'll also go with that. I'm not the expert in that respect. However, when we have approached players and we sat them down at the Whirlpool Masters and we asked to do a poll, we asked them to anonymously vote as to what they wanted, we got a half and half. 50% 1, 50% 9. So in our opinion, we're going to keep the 1 on the spot until we are advised otherwise and until we think it's more competitive to switch.
There's been a lot of discussion this week about format, right? We had Darren Appleton on. He was talking about format, and he said, interesting point. How come every pool 2 you have to have a players meeting to discuss the rules? He's like, you don't have to discuss the rules of baseball or soccer or football, as you call it. You know, the rules are the rules.
Well,
but in pool, there's a players meeting at every tournament to discuss the rules. What do you think needs to happen?
There isn't, though.
Okay.
So there isn't for the Whirlpool Championship. There's no players meeting taking place.
No,
there's no players meeting taking place. So you go to the Whirlpool Masters, you go to the Mosconi Cup, you go to the World Cup of Pool. No players meetings take place. There is a captain's meeting at the Mosconi Cup to talk about the rules, to ensure things that happened with JJ last year don't happen, but that still happened, right? So we decided that there's a player information link that gets sent out for the Whirlpool Championship. Because in my opinion, if players can't read the rules, then they have they don't have any leg to stand on to come back.
We got some who can't even make it to a match on time. So I'm saying maybe reading some literature may be a little rough, you know?
So look, the Premier League pool, we did a players meeting the day before because it's a brand new event. It was a brand new event with a point system. So obviously it makes sense. But when it comes to the events like the US Open, it was the first time of us doing the event. So to be fair, the players meetings for everyone, the presenter goes along, the matchroom team go along. It's for everyone to understand the event. Now, my main concerns at those events are, does anyone have a problem? Let's talk about it now. And also, if we want you in commentary, if we
I hope
want
you're
you
saying
to
it
do
like that
this,
whenever you tell the players that. Has anybody got a problem around here? Please let me know. Because you come up a little tough sometimes, Emily.
You'd be surprised when people were on the spot. They'll soon keep it. But I totally agree. There shouldn't be a players meeting every time you're at an event because it should be standardized. They should turn up. They should know what the bloody rules are. But the matchroom rules are similar. And what we're working on is, 2022, we're being flexible with the ranking events that are coming into play because there's so many different elements. But we've got a sheet of paper now that is being delivered to our ranking events for next year. And if you want to be on board, by the way, our 2023 calendar has a lot of events on.
Spill
A
it.
lot.
Let's hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you
come on.
think?
We can go break it
No,
right
no,
here.
no, no.
Oh yeah. That's why we got you on.
No, you got to pay good money for these kind of announcements, boys.
Oh,
I've
man.
got a calendar that we are nearly fit for, and it says on there, this is the rules. If you cannot do it like this, you're not on it. So we've tried to be flexible for this year, and we're also learning what are the challenges that these ranking tournaments have been facing. So what can we be flexible on? What can we push for 2024, for instance? So I totally agree. If Darren's saying why is there, but I totally agree, because I don't have one for the World Pool Masters. I don't have it for the World Cup of Pool, because the players know what they're doing. So again, it's not happening for the World Championship. If I'm running a World Pool Championship event, I expect 128 of those players to know exactly what they are doing. As long as they've got their document that says what the rules are and it's clear,
Then it's on them.
exactly.
You mentioned Darren and Joey brought him up, and I want to ask you if these boys go and get together and form a union, which it seems like they did. How important is to have that open dialogue, and how open are you guys as promoters? You know, you guys being one of the biggest in the sport, how open are you going to be to receiving, bridging between the players and you guys?
Listen, I knew that this meeting was taking place, because obviously 3 out of the main guys who are heading it up contacted me to tell me. And I'll be totally open with you about it. I sent an email to those candidates and said, as far as Matchroom are concerned, the door has always been open to the players. If you've got an issue, if you want to raise a concern, I've always, me personally, and the rest of the team here, have always been more than open to listen. The thing is with the players is that we don't ignore. We will listen. I'm not saying that your idea is good.
Right.
And if it is good, we will acknowledge it. If there's a reason why it isn't, we will give you a reason why. So if they come to us and say, I don't know, why is there a shot clock? It's a TV show at the end of the day.
We can't have Alvin
snooker.
taking 2 minutes a shot. That's why.
It's we saw what happened at Championship League Pool. We don't want that to happen. So there's a justifiable reason. But that communication is there. And as I explained to Jeremy, and as I explained to Jason, that door is open, but it works both ways. Again, you are the players. You are the experts of your sport. If all of you come to me and say, Matchroom, we think the 9 on the spot is the way forward, with the no 3-point rule, with this, and that, hand racking, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What? So the majority of the pool players all agree with this. Okay, then we will look to implement that. But if you come to me with something that we feel is the wrong decision for a television show, we will communicate that back.
So it has to be a balance.
You are the players, you are the experts in the game. We are the promoter. We're not a governing body. We are creating exposure, and we're creating a career earning prize money for the players. So we will make decisions on the bigger picture and on the greater plan. And as I explained to the guys as well, we've been successful in building tours in snooker and darts, and look at our boxing stable. We know what we are doing. That doesn't mean that we don't need some advice along the way. So I welcome and I encourage the players to talk to us, but I don't think it needs to be a union. It doesn't need to be a union, because everyone's got the mobile number. They can just call me and tell me, Emily, I think that this prize money payout's a bit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll look into it. We have a meeting with the team here. Okay, well, blah, blah, blah's expressed this situation. So how do we all feel about that? That's how it works. You don't need a union for that. Just pick up the phone and call us.
Well, that's great for working with you, Emily, but there's other folks out there, and that's kind of the problem that they're having, right? Is they go to one event, maybe from a different promoter, it's a different format. They go to your event, it's a different format. And so I think what they're trying to do is collectively have a voice, right? Where
I get that. But
yeah, if the calendar doesn't work out, if 2 entities schedule tournaments close together, something where they can just hypothetically,
that was Joey.
All right.
hypothetically, to where they can collectively have some power, to be able to say, hey, something has to change here.
I understand that. I think what we've obviously launched and what we've pushed at the beginning of the year and everything we've communicated is everything the players want is what we've communicated that we also want. So I understand there's other organisers out there. However, as part of coming onto the 9-ball rankings, there aren't any clashes. So you come onto the rankings, you have to adhere to these set of rules. Again, and I haven't said this enough, it's flexible for 2022. But for 2023, moving forward, we are streamlining our rules and our reds across the other organisers. So within 9-ball, we've expressed we are pushing 9-ball as the main commercial form of the pool, the main discipline, because we feel it's got the entertainment factor and it's got the longevity of actually becoming a full tour. So we're dealing with 9-ball. Now, the other disciplines can exist, and that's absolutely fine. And if they need that voice with the other disciplines, then I get that. But to bring Matchroom into that fold when we both want the same thing, and we've started at the beginning of this year and said, hang on a second, we want to bring everyone together. We want to standardize the rules. We want it to be understanding. The problem we have is that your casual viewer who is tuning in doesn't have a clue what pool is. They don't understand. You want the viewer to tune in and go, oh yeah, Mosconi Cup, that's race to 5, it's alternate break. Oh, but we're tuning into the open events, US, European, UK. I'm going to list all these other ones that we're going to introduce. You tune into the Masters, you tune into the World Cup. So you know that when you're at race to 9, you're getting winner breaks. When you're at race to blah, blah, you get this. It's clear and it's simple. It's a 30-second shot clock. This is the braking conditions. So the only thing that changes are the race 2s. So we are trying to do that. And that's what we want, because we want to standardize the rules. The reason why we push 9-ball is because we want to make it easy for a casual viewer. The only way you grow the sport is to produce more viewership. So that's what we're trying to do. If the players want more of a voice, more power, then they can do that. But it's always, I think it's unfair to bring us into the fold, because we've always been very open and welcoming in that respect. And when it comes down to clashing on events,
here we go.
listen.
Here we go. Hold on. Let me reshare.
I was just talking hypothetically.
Let me reshare. I'm usually the one that gets labeled as the one who starts it up around here. So I'm glad I'm rubbing off on you,
I'm not.
Joey.
Listen, all I'm going to say on this matter is if I put the energy into that discussion and wasted my energy on situations like that and took it away from this global tour that is all pinned up on my wall here. I'm not showing you. Don't even
Come on, turn the camera.
Yeah, rotate.
No.
Rotate.
This is my TV. Oh, no, right. If I drew my attention away from the main goal, which is to produce a global tour and substantial and, do you know what, just horrible high prize money for these players, where they actually turn around and go, oh, like 60 grand for a winner right now is like, yes, yeah. That's just going to be the basic moving forward, the tour that we're creating. Now, if I take my energy away from that and put that into situations like this, we're not getting anywhere. So all I'm going to say on the matter is we are a global promoter. We have television broadcasters who have schedules which are like this, right? You say you follow tennis, Mike.
I do.
Could you imagine anyone dictating to the broadcasters and saying, oh no, I'm really sorry, we can't go there because there's actually one of the tennis clubs is putting on like a pro-am, so can you change your whole broadcaster schedule and not put this on there and just change the ATP finals to this? It doesn't work like that. Now, the reason why Matchroom pool events have increased globally and in viewership numbers is because we carefully plan our events. For ages, and when I first came into this department, we were too often on the red button on Sky Sports. We weren't live. We weren't getting that viewership. We were on the red button. Now we are scheduled.
Record.
Oh, okay,
Red
okay, okay,
button
okay,
is,
okay.
you're not live on there. You have to flick a button and
I
then you
get you.
go to, yeah,
He's a little slow
That's
sometimes,
why I
though.
pay Joey the
yeah,
big
no.
bucks.
So to put, I just want to put it into perspective. When you're working, when you throw a broadcaster in, that is your priority. And then you throw all of these other tournaments that we have within the Matchroom umbrella into the mix that also have their own broadcasters on board. It makes it very, very challenging. And all I ask is people respect that. And I don't ask people to understand it, because unless you're in it, you don't understand it. However, I say again and again and again, we make decisions for a reason. We don't make decisions because we're trying to single people out or we're trying to sabotage. We are doing this to grow the sport. And I advise that people come on board and we all work together, which is exactly what we've been preaching since January when we launched our world rankings.
I remember years ago, people talking a lot of mess. There's favoritism. There's this, there's that. They've made changes. You know, a lot of the complaints that we've heard, conditions, playing on buckets, they've made changes. A lot of things that have gone on over the course of the last 4 years. People were quick to go and snap a judgment, but you know what? You guys have taken the feedback and have gone and applied it and are flexible and are just not just saying that we're right, you're wrong. So hopefully that bridge between you guys will go and improve, whether it's with other promoters, whether it's with players, whatever the case may be. But I want to focus on players for a minute because there's a great players list that was just released today, and
Yeah,
there's some names in there that kind of, I don't want to say got forgotten, but it's those are pretty big news. And one of them for me especially, Dennis Okolo is going to be playing in the World Nine Ball
yeah,
Championships. Is that right?
that is correct. He's going to be coming over for, um, he's going to be in the World Pool Championship, the World Pool Masters, the
Amazing.
UK Open, I
That's
think.
fantastic.
So
Hopefully, she says.
we actually had quite a list. I think about 22 players who actually declined entry to the event. So obviously, like Carlo Biardo's, I think he's actually ranked number 2 in our rankings.
Right.
He declined
Was it
due
because of
to
visa
visa.
issues or?
Yeah, due to visa issues, like Jeff DeLuna, Roberto Gomez, Earl Strickland, Jasmine Alshan, she also declined. So we had quite a long list of players who actually declined their spots. And so but when we were getting those declines through, obviously something we're trying to work on is UK audience. And because of our involvement on the UK Open, we've gone to the GB9 tour and said, okay, give us 2 more spots. We're trying to work with the federations. We went back to the
I like that.
WPA and said, okay, give us spots. We're not going off of favoritism. We're not going off of sponsor invites or anything like that. This is transparent. We want to show you all the list. We want to show you who declined, because we're showing you this open book now, because it's a bit confusing for this year. We've determined a rankings list, and now we're trying to produce a live ranking list that's going to come into play for next year. I just want that to keep flowing, so then we don't have to change anything. It's just, straight
It
up, and
makes it
it's
fair. It makes it fair.
that's
You
what I'm.
go and earn your way. And I remember specifically, so this, the kid Victor who just won the Alpha event, he wasn't even on the 9 ball rankings. And I remember, a friend of mine who's from Poland, kind of up in arms. But the way that it's set up is incredible, or is great for a kid like him. Go and play, go and perform, go and play the way you think you can go and play, and you're going to be up there, based off of not who you know, but
Performance.
how well you go and do in
Well,
events.
that's the thing. It's like you said, a lot of the negative feedback that we got and that we've listened to is how people get into our events. So what do? We go and announce a full schedule and a full ranking system to show transparency. The thing is, I don't care what anyone says, we are listening and we are acting upon things that we have the ability to change. The moment that people start thinking that we're not trying to promote this sport to the best of its ability, they're wrong, because we are doing everything in our power to make decisions to grow pool. Some people might not like them, and they might not agree with them. I mean, the date clashes, like I said, that's all I'm going to say on it, because again, I'm not wasting my energy on situations. Listen, I know the facts. My whole team know the facts. The other side of the pond also know the facts. That's all that needs to matter. As long as the people in our teams know the full story, then I'm happy. I'm not working in bad faith. I'm an open book. I'm honest, trustworthy.
I say it all the time.
And that's it.
I say I don't got time to be, wondering about this person or that person. I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to continue to push forward and, I got enough time on my own with the list of things that I got to go and accomplish. So I can totally respect that.
All we're doing is we're focusing on a global tour. And again, I just ask people to respect that the challenges that we may have that you may not understand that are actually there. So the good thing about podcasts like you guys, and why I welcome you to come to our events, is so you can see the production side of it. You can see the scheduling that goes into it. You can see the pre-recorded interviews that get done 1 hour before our on-air schedule. There's a live news cross that goes to Sky Sports News of the presenter and the pundit saying, come and join us for the Whirlpool Championship. We're live on air at 10 a.m. Don't forget to tune in. That's all those viewers that are tuning in for a Sky Sports News for the football scores. There's things like that we're doing that people just don't even see. That's what it is working with these broadcasters. Yeah, people want to see a free stream and stuff like that. Great. Our Table 2 is offering that. So all I want is just please email us, call me, don't Facebook message me because I've deleted it, so I don't have it. Email me, call me. If you want to be on the rankings, we want you in. Our 2023 calendar is stacking up. The rules are set in place. Everyone's getting it. I want everyone to join us. I mean, imagine where Nine Ball is going to be in the next couple of years. You guys are going to be traveling to every event. You won't even need a day job anymore, because you'll have these sponsors saying to you, dogging it, I want to sponsor it because you've got over 500,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, because you are at every event. You're getting the viral clips of the players storming off. You're getting the viral interview of a player straight off of a match that's just gone hill and this happened. It's event after an event. And these players are now high profile. Forget the 20,000 followers on Facebook. I'm talking they should be in the hundreds of thousand followers on Instagram. Yeah. This is the energy. This is where the energy should be going.
Do you think they've done a good job of growing their brands and being more active on social media as a whole?
Of course. And I've got a team of such bright people within this multi-sport department who know how to do that. All those verified blue ticks that those players all have, who do you think got those? Matchroom did. Matchroom contacted Instagram and got all of these players blue ticked and verified. When you're verified, you won't instantly get more followers. We're trying to educate the players to do that. So all I'm asking is to come to join us. Let's all help one another out. I mean, we've just scheduled, I think, another ranking event for the end of April. Yes, let's smash it out. Let's get another ranking.
Where is that? What's that? Where
I think we should wait for the press release, because I think the team is going to get well angry with me. So all I'm asking is just imagine, guys, that you're hopping to the different tournaments and you're getting those clips, and all of a sudden you've got a proper channel on your hands. This is what we want. This is what I want. And it means everyone should come together.
I like it.
That sounds good to me, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Couldn't agree more.
Any other players you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I was looking through the Joey's just dodging bullets over here. I was looking through the list, and one of the other ones that has popped up for me is Billy Thorpe. And the reason being is because last year we heard there were some issues where he may not be allowed to go and attend WPA ranking events. He's been here in the Predator Alpha Las Vegas, and then of course in the World 10 Ball Championship. Now I'm seeing him on the 9 Ball World Championship. So is there any news you can go, or any light you can bring on that news?
Yeah, of course. And like I said, we're always happy to help the players. We were obviously advised last year that he was potentially being suspended and that he wasn't permitted to play in the Matchroom events. So, you know, that's the rule. We took that on board. Billy approached me not too long ago and said, look, I don't think that this is actually going to be happening. Can you help me out? You know, who do I speak to? I don't know what to do. How do I know if I'm not allowed to participate in events? And I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, the last communication I had on it was late last year before the Mosconi Cup, and that's all I've heard. So I said, I suggest you give the WPA a phone call and you ask, am I suspended? Can I play in the events? And do you know what? He picked up the phone, he called Ian Anderson, he asked the question, and we got an email back saying he's technically not suspended right now, and so he can play. Simple as that.
As of today, with everything that's going on, as of today, is Billy Thorpe eligible to be in Mosconi Cup contention?
So he wouldn't be permitted to play in a ranking event if he wasn't.
Right.
He's in good standing with the federation, and I've had confirmation that he can play in our events.
Well,
and you're telling me we need a bloody players union? Come on.
All right. One other thing I want to go and ask you about, and I'm going to circle back to tennis a little bit, because when, you know, we're obviously aware of the things going on in the world, right? And players getting suspended, or Russian players, Belarus players not being allowed to go and compete. Well, we did see in tennis where they made an exception where Russian players were allowed to go and compete, just not under their flag. Has there been any discussion when it comes to, oh, by the way, that, you know, one of the hottest players in pool right now, and Federer Gorst, and any communication between the WPA and the IOC, and has there been any talk in that regard?
I don't know of any conversations, obviously, between that bridge, because that doesn't involve Matchroom. Right. I do know that the IOC obviously recommended that promoters, organisers, federations don't permit the players to participate. However, if you need to, then they don't do it under the flag, or if it's last minute. So we were communicated that it's a straight up, they do not participate. And again, we're not the governing body. We get that rule coming in. And it's, I think, as a big organisation like the tennis side of things, they can make those decisions based on obviously how much it impacts them. So, you know, I think I would raise it again with the WPA and just see if they've got any further with it, really. But it is down to the governing body to make that decision on it. I know as a Matchroom umbrella side of things, it's kind of the same stand that we've collectively taken together, because we obviously have different federations in the different sports. So that's just, obviously, it's a little bit different for us to take on board as to how like a tennis may look at it.
Right.
Emily, switching gears a little bit, you had big announcements yesterday
I know.
about the Mosconi Cup. And so tell us about the captain choices. Did you guys, was that hard to come by, or how did that come about?
Do you know what? I don't know whether to tell you the truth on this or not.
I've been pushing her buttons for like the last 3 months to go and announce. Jeremy should have announced American captain the day after the Mosconi Cup.
It's so awkward, right?
Up.
After the Mosconi Cup, we talked to Jeremy, and he's like, well, if I'm captain next year, and we're like, what?
Yeah.
Come on, you got to be
put on the spot a few times for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I will tell you this, that if we haven't announced it, there's a reason why. We haven't held back information to just keep you guys all guessing, and that doesn't benefit us. There's a reason why we structure the teams and the players, but holding the captains back doesn't really benefit us. So there's a reason why there's been this delay on it. Again, I talk about broadcasters involved. I've always made it very clear that I'm very unbiased when it comes to the Mosconi Cup towards like Team Europe. All I want is it to be 10-all, and it gets to the final match, and everything is on those two players, or those two teams. Everything is on that. That's all I want, is a 10-all. So I have to look at that, and we all discuss it, and we sit down and we say, right, what do we think about the captains? Because we can't waste each year, and we apply this in every aspect of our events. We can't get complacent. We can't get complacent in our staging. We can't get complacent in the captains or the teams that we select. We have to ensure that we are bringing out the best quality. Now, I think Alex Lely has done a remarkable job. I actually think too much of a good job. That was what I was toying with, to be totally honest with you.
Wow.
I think Jeremy's fantastic. Now, the thing with Jeremy is
he hadn't gotten a fair shake. This will be, hopefully, if everything continues the way it is, he'll at least get one full year of being able to get his guys in there without no BS, no
COVID.
pandemic, no players dropping out at the last minute, no nothing.
My sentimental side is very much like JJ hasn't had the fair chance at it. He had this, that was working against him, this working against him. But then my brain comes into play and goes, well, no, hang on a second. But do you know what I really liked? I thought JJ absolutely was fantastic playing in the Mosconi Cup last year. So it was, when I saw JJ, I was like, do you want a captain or should you play? Yeah. And his fight talk words to me were, listen, Emily, as much as I would love to play, and I actually would, but I'm going to whip these players into shape and I'm going to win this. And I saw that determination and I heard it in his voice. We had a lot of text message, a lot of phone calls after that conversation. And it's something different to him this year. That little bit extra. And do you know what? That's all I wanted to see. I don't want to just hand it on a plate. The Mosconi Cup captain is a huge role. You get sponsorship off of that. You get a lot of things off of it.
To be fair, I remember we had interviewed Jeremy before the Mosconi Cup, and I remember asking him, is it fair to go and judge Jeremy Jones, the captain? I said, put your commentator's hat on, right? Is it fair to go and judge Jeremy Jones, the captain, based off the last 2 years, like the first year and then the second year? And he didn't even hesitate. He said, without a doubt. He said, you chalk it up one way, wins and losses, and that's what I love about Jeremy. He doesn't go and sugarcoat it. He's going to tell you like it is, and he has expectations. And we interviewed him yesterday. You could hear he believes he's going to go and win. He's going to do whatever it takes to go and get the players, get their butts in shape to go and get the W come November.
And that's something that you notice different with him. And do you know what? Jeremy is one of those people in this industry that I really have a lot of respect for. It just as an all-round person, regardless of him being a captain, he's a very good guy that I have if he come to me, and this is why this union thing's quite interesting. Jeremy Jones picked up the phone to me and said, Emily, you are doing this wrong. And I think that you should be doing it like this. He is someone that I would 100% listen to without any doubt. I wouldn't even question it in my mind. Because I just have so much respect for him, his experience, and his unbiased look towards things. He's very straight, fair, and that's what I really like.
He'll tell you like it is.
Exactly. And I don't like yes people around us. I like people who challenge everyone.
You hear that, Joey?
Mike calls me soft
Joey
all the time,
sometimes.
Emily. I don't know.
Yeah. Are you sure we should do that, Mike? Yeah, I'm sure we should do it. We'll get in trouble later. We'll say sorry later.
But Emily, I know you're super busy. You're getting ready for next week. We want to take the time to just thank you for coming on here. And just to close it out, this will be my first year ever attending a Mosconi Cup. And yes, and I'm so excited for it. But what should I expect this year?
Madness. Like madness. It's gonna be, I can't even tell you the
just
kind of
leave it at that. I love it. That's the right word to go and end it on right there.
But I want the Pool Player Podcast / Dogging It to be reporting at the Mosconi Cup.
Awesome.
Consider it done.
Thank you.
We will be there for sure. And hopefully a lot more events this year.
Yes. No, you will be at more
We will be. We will be.
Not hopefully.
We will be. Yeah, we will be.
UK Open.
We're gonna get it situated and we're gonna make it out there. I can guarantee it.
Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Dogging it out.
Thank you, guys.